Glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations. Much love and respect to Akim out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. This is your brother Chaim Napash coming at you with another lesson. And this lesson is going to be dealing with RFK, all right? RFK Jr. and the recent statements he made about having all Americans wear wearables within 4 years, right? And this is a clear movement towards the MOTB, the mark, okay? And it's being disguised by health, all right? Health is the excuse for it. Now I'm gonna play this video real quick.
Announced that he wants every single American. Robert F. Kennedy just announced that he wants every single American to be wearing a wearable within 4 years. A wearable. This is part of the MAHA agenda that we have voted for. This is not exactly what I voted for. MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, not Make America Trackable Again. So these wearables are going to track every single aspect of your body. It's going to track your heart rate, your health, your medicines that you take, your blood pressure, your everything. It's going to be part of a giant database that's going to be run by, like, say, Palantir, who is heavily involved in this administration, which I don't agree with at all. That's another rabbit hole. But back to these wearables. They are going to be forced on the American people that within 4 years, every single person is going to have to wear one of these wearable devices and be tracked. It's going to not only track your health, it's going to track you. Every movement you make, everywhere you go, you're going to be tracked. I know this already happens with your cell phone, but the cell phone is not mandatory. We choose to have this. This will be mandatory for your health and safety and protection. What do you think about this? I completely get Mark of the Beast vibes. I mean, it's just like getting one step closer. If it's mandatory, what else will come next that will be mandatory for us? Give me your thoughts down below. Like and follow.
So like he said, he gets Mark of the Beast vibes, right? And that's the exact vibes that are coming with that. All right. And there's a couple things he said in here I wanted to touch on. You know, one of the things is he mentioned that it was supposed to be for, you know, tracking your heart rate, your blood pressure, whatever the case may be. But that's not what makes you healthy, tracking your heart rate and your blood pressure. That's not what makes you healthy. What makes you healthy is changing your diet. And the main thing they should do is get rid of these fast food joints. Get rid of this processed garbage, you know, and start putting in healthier food, you know. But they're not going to do that. Why? Because they're all about profit. They don't care about your health. They never did. Or else these things would not exist. Okay, there wouldn't be planes dropping, you know, chemicals from the sky. All right, there wouldn't be these pollutants from these factories going in the air. All these things would be stopped. Gasoline driven cars. There's many people who've came up with the invention of cars that can run off water, but they will never put that out. And those people end up disappearing because it's not about your health. It's about profit with Esau. Esau doesn't give a damn about that. He gives a damn about profit. Okay. There's another thing he mentioned. I don't want to forget. He said, well, now, you know, the cell phone, you know, yeah, it's tracking you, but, you know, we choose that. So he tried to justify the cell phone, which obviously, you know, in this day and age, you need a cell phone. You know, you need a cell phone to operate efficiently in this society. This is how Esau made it. It's like, you live in certain areas, you need a car to operate efficiently. But the bottom line is that now he accepts that. He accepts being trapped by his cell phone, which is really a violation of your rights. Okay? But that's going to go into a point that I'm going to make as well. But hey, they're doing all these things and setting up the MOTB because they have the power to do so. They're in the power seat. All right. This is Micah 2:1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand." Okay. They practice it because it's in the power of their hand. All right. This is why they're doing what they do. Remember, when you read Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, it says, let the law be the strength of justice. Okay. Matter of fact, let me, how does it go? Let me go to Wisdom of Solomon. In other words, they're going to do what they want because they have the power to do so. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter. It says, Wisdom of Solomon 2:1, it says, for the ungodly, matter of fact, no. Let's come down to, right. This is what I wanted, but I'll start at verse 10. It says, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. So it says, let our strength be the law of justice. So they're not focused on what's right and wrong. They're focused on they can do it. So because we have the power to do it, so let's do it. Just like when Christopher Columbus came to the Americas, specifically Hispaniola, the island of Hispaniola, which today is called Haiti and Dominican Republic. He saw the Tainos and he saw how friendly they were and how kind they were and giving they were. And this is all in his biography, by the way. And he said, well, they're so kind and giving, and they're not into war like that. So we can destroy them with 4 people. Right. So his thing wasn't, you know what, these are kind people, let me leave them alone. No, we have the power to destroy them. That's the mindset of an Edomite. OK, and this guy, this devil, this Edomite, Christopher Columbus I'm speaking about, is revered amongst these Edomites in America and in the Western world. So you Edomites are not going to pay for that. The scriptures say that you have been partakers with adulterers, man, and thieves. Right. So you got to pay for that, man. You see? So, yeah, so their strength is the law of justice. So they're going to push forth this NWO and this mark because they can, but they're going to do it through deceptive means. And part of those deceptive means is the HEA to the L to the T to the H. Okay? This is Revelation 13. And I'll start at verse 11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Okay. Now that's dealing with Babylon, the two systems, right? You have the Democrat and the Republic system, right? And that's throughout the Western world. You know, Canada has the same thing. London has the same thing, so on and so forth. It says, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, which is dealing with the Roman Empire. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. So this is part of his deception, right? And also when he shows you how people can be healed by having it in their brain and all this stuff, and they weren't able to walk and they could walk again, they weren't able to move and they could move again, they could play video games with their mind and so on and so forth, and the other things that Esau has in store that he hasn't shown yet. All right. It says, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. See, they have the power to do these things, to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that is the microchip. We keep saying it at Great Millstone. It's the micro C-hip, period. It's not no embargo. It's not no spiritual thing. It's a physical thing that they're gonna force the planet to take. The only ones that's gonna resist full-heartedly is the elect. Without any question, it's not even in our mind to take it. There's absolutely no way that we would take something like that and live on the earth. We would never. We'd have to be in the spirit world first. Okay, we would never. The elect would never take that. Okay, Lord willing, I be of that number. Okay, that's definitely not in our mind. That's not even a question. In other words, if they say death or that, give me the death. I guess I got to take the death. All right? It's not that we want it to get put to death, but it is what it is. And that no man might have, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So clearly, this mark has to do with buying and selling. Clearly, the chip is being used for buying and selling even now. Clearly, you can see how that works. Clearly, they're coming in with a digital system. All right? That's going to be governed by AI. So I don't know what these other camps are saying, talking about it's a particular worship. It's sin. It's sleeping with Edomites. So don't listen. You listen to these other camps. That's on you. You can't tell the Most High, oh, I didn't know that was. The Spirit wasn't working with you. If the Spirit was working with you, you would find the true men of the Lord. Simple and plain. Okay. It says, Shalom, do you believe the electronic tattoo will be the MOTB or still the grain of rice? There's not no electronic tattoo, man. You're talking about electronic tattoo. Okay. The people already have the microchip in their hand. There's people already with microchips. Okay. And it doesn't necessarily have to be shaped of the grain of rice. That's not the point. The point is that you have a particular microchip that has all your information and data, right? And that you can use to buy or sell inside of you. That's the mark of the beast. Doesn't matter what shape it's in. It's not going to be no goddamn tattoo. All right? Where do you see masses of people now getting a tattoo that they can control, that it's part of the Wi-Fi, part of the Internet of Things? You see the microchip. All right? So listen, so pay attention. It's the microchip, the microchip. We keep saying it a million times. We're not changing it. And if you don't believe that and you go and take that, you will be destroyed. Matter of fact, let's read Revelations 14 and 9. Okay? It's Revelations 14 and 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. You keep switching it up, man. People keep the reason I'm speaking it like this is because people keep trying to switch it up. The prophet's already here. The prophet's already sent out the message. The apostles and elders been out for decades pushing out the message, and the bishop elders for decades, man. The same message, and the things they've been saying before is coming to pass. You think we're going to change the main topic of prophecy? You think we're going to change a main topic of prophecy in the last minute? The Spirit had us say what it was, man, starting with the apostles and elders, man. Okay? Before I was even anywhere on the scene, when I was a kid, all right, the apostles was out here speaking these things. You know? It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone, in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Okay, so you're going to be in that nuclear fire. If you're in Babylon the Great, you have that mark on you, you're going to be in that nuclear fire, which is going to be those nuclear missiles. Now, and the scriptures speak about not being carried away with every wind of doctrine. If you're not stable in what you believe, right, and understanding who the true men of the Lord is, or are rather, you are not going to make it in that time. You're going to be of like a reed shaking in the wind. This is Ephesians 4:14. It says that we henceforth, matter of fact, I'll start at verse 13. It says, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of the Most High, right? The knowledge and the faith has to be one, meaning we have to be in agreement with everything. Of the Son of the Most High, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Hamashiach, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. To hear this, maybe it's this, maybe that, maybe this and that, maybe this and that. See, because you're not stable, man. You got to find out. First of all, you got to know who the true men of the Lord are. You have to be convinced in your mind who they are. And then that you have to understand what's being said. The Lord has to open your mind to understand what's being said. Okay, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. But speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Hamashiach. So you can't be tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine. You have to be stable in your mind. Okay? You have to be stable in your mind. It's not multiple things. It's not a million different things. It's one thing. Matter of fact, let me go this being assured of who now has learned it. This is 2 Timothy's 3:14. It says, but continue thou in the things which thou hast learned. Okay? And hast been assured of. So you're supposed to be assured of the things you have learned, knowing of whom thou hast learned them. So you got to know that who you're learning from are the ambassadors of Yahweh Shai. If you don't know that, then you still don't really have the truth. Okay? You're still on the fence. And that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith, which is in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. All right. So you have to be very stable in understanding. Well, the scripture says wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our time. Let's go to Isaiah 33:6. Isaiah 33:6. It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. When you look up this word stability in the Hebrew, it says amawana. Amawana. Okay, amawana. All right. Which the root is amawan. Okay. It says firmness, fidelity, meaning they're faithful. Okay, steadfastness and steadiness. Okay, so you're not wavering. You're not all over the damn place. Okay, you're steady, you're stable, you're firm in what you believe, what you understand, which is supposed to be the truth. Okay? And then what the word, which the other scripture, what's that? Isaiah 30:20, is it? It says that, you shall hear a word behind thee saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. When you see the teachers, you're going to know who they are, and the Spirit is going to guide you to follow them. Simple as that. Simple as that. That's true. People are already taking some form of chip to buy now. Yep. I haven't seen anyone selling with it just yet, nor have I seen anyone buying or selling with a chip in their foreheads as of now. But it's coming, okay? It's coming. All right? That's coming as well. Because when you put it in your brain, there's so much things they could do with the brain chip. The brain is like, yo, that you're becoming basically like an android, and that's going to be appealing to people when they start to show the things that they're going to be able to do with it. Okay, that's coming. That's the next step. Everything is in stages, man. Everything is in stages. It's about 1 million people in America has the chip now. About 1 million people in America have a chip. Well, that's a lot of people. And they haven't even started to really push it yet. They haven't started to push it yet, but they're getting ready to push it. They're getting ready. They're setting up. And when they start to push it, it's not going to take long for them to make it mandatory, man. Okay? Says the MOTB is undoubtedly technology being placed in your body. I was just exploring the idea E will use something more advanced. Shalom. Nah, that's as advanced as he's going to get with that. It's going to be inside you. It's going to be a digital chip inside you. That's as advanced as this devil's going to get. All right? When it comes to what he's going to push upon the earth. All right? You don't got time to... That's what it's going to be, brother. All right? That's what it's going to be. Point blank, period. Okay? So, now I'm talking about... I spoke about gradualism. All right? Let's look up the word gradualism. Because that's how Esau operates, right? Starting with the chips in the hand, and then they're going to start buying and selling with the chips in their forehead. And, everything is gradual. Gradualism meaning, Salakia. Okay, gradualism, a policy of gradual reform rather than sudden change or revolution. Okay, so they change particular laws, they tweak particular laws, they push particular ideas out there, and before you know it, it's a normal part of society. Okay? Right? Before, you used to pay cash for everything. Now, you used to pay cash before. Now, they introduced the credit card and the debit card, and then they introduced the tap. Now, most people just tap. You don't see much people pulling out cash. I like to pull out cash. I like to have cash on hand, but most people don't pull out cash. All right? And then you go to a lot of places, they don't even have change. You got a lot of places that are like kiosks where they don't accept cash. This is part of the gradualism. Okay? I also looked up, so I was drinking some of that tea, that burdock and ashwagandha, so on and so forth. What was I going to say? Yep, I have here. Goodness gracious, that was messing with me. Why are you always getting on me? All right. It says, Patriot Act. Basically what I was asking was about, the laws that people didn't accept at first, and now they accept it. Now it's a part of society. The first one thing that people weren't accepting was the Patriot Act and mass surveillance. And this is what really kind of lifted the skirt. This event really started to lift the skirt on Esau on a high level. Because, people started to look into this shit. Because, with the Patriot Act and all, I was like, what was this thing really about? And people started to really analyze it and see that there was a lot of falsehood in it, this event. Okay, it says Patriot Act and mass surveillance. Initial reaction after 9/11. Many Americans accepted the Patriot Act out of fear, but civil liberties groups and everyday citizens raised huge concerns about loss of privacy. I remember there was concerns about that. Opposition critics warned it gave the government too much power to spy on citizens without proper oversight. Today, mass surveillance programs like PRISM, revealed by Edward Snowden in 2013, showed the NSA was collecting data from phones, emails, and internet. And now, like the guy said in the video, well, yeah, the phone, yeah, they collect the data, but we choose that. So he is all right with that now. See how it became normalized to have them surveil you and to track you and to watch the things that you're doing? It became normalized now, right? But when it first came in, people were staunchly against that. Okay, you go to civil asset forfeiture, which introduced as a tool to fight drug trafficking in the 1980s, right? So they always have to have an excuse of why they're bringing in these draconian measures. The excuse then for the forfeiting of assets, which means basically you stealing people's property, the things that they have. They use the drug dealers as an excuse. Oh, well, these drug dealers, we got to take the things they got because, of course, they got it through illegal means, as if the government is not the biggest drug dealer, as if these Edomite elites are not the biggest drug dealers. But that was their excuse, right? Introduced as a tool to fight drug trafficking in the 1980s, but just like this thing is being used as a tool for health. Right? You take the thing, it's all for health. It's all to make you all healthy. Like they give it. When have they ever cared about your health? It says, but the whole industry, the whole medic CA to the L industry, come on, that's clearly not about health. That's about profit. Okay? It's about profit, and I'm not talking about Elijah. All right? It says introduced as a tool to fight drug trafficking in the 1980s, but early on people were alarmed by how easily property could be taken without a trial. And these American people are so goddamn stupid. That's why you're known as the stupidest people, man. All right? All of y'all are stupid, man. The Western world in general is stupid. I mean, are you serious? Destroy these drug dealers, it's okay. But if they can do it to them, they could do it to you. If they could, just like the deportation, if they could deport these illegal, so-called legal immigrants, these legal immigrants, as well as the illegal, but the illegal immigrants that are here legally, what the hell can they do to you? It's the same concept, man. Right? Right? So now it says opposition. Americans found it unfair that police could seize cash, cars, or homes from people suspected of crimes, even without charges. That's it. Today, billions in assets are seized annually. Many cases still don't result in criminal charges, and reclaiming property is costly and complicated. So this is a clear violation of your rights. That's clear tyranny. That's clear tyranny right there. Okay? That ain't no different from the police in these rural countries stopping you and telling you to give them money. Okay? And really it's worse because they're asking for petty money. These niggas is taking billions. It says qualified immunity for police officers. Initial reaction, the doctrine was established by courts in the 1960s and expanded later. It was seen as a way to protect officials from frivolous lawsuits. Opposition critics long warned it made it nearly impossible to hold police accountable for misconduct. Again, they were going in back then. Okay, shooting Jake left and right. Okay, it says today qualified immunity is still largely intact despite mass protests, George Floyd protests, so on and so forth. And efforts to reform it, many communities feel justice is denied due to this protection. Well, the scriptures speak about woe to you that decree unrighteous decrees. Let's get that. Isaiah 10. Let's get that. Because these are all unrighteous decrees these devils are pushing out. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Prescribed meaning they had it prepared before. They just needed an excuse to push it forth. To turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Okay, let's go to this income tax. Right, this is just the most stupid shit in the earth. So they take your money. Income. First of all, you're not supposed to be even taxing income. Okay. You're not supposed to be. Really, you're not supposed to be taxing wages. You know. It says initial reaction when first introduced, the federal income tax only applied to very rich, and many Americans feared it would grow over time. And that's what happened. It starts with someone that people agree. Oh yeah, we agree. It's to tax the rich, which is really nobody should be taxed like that. You know, the successive tax that these devils have, nobody should be taxed like that. It's pure wickedness. It says opposition. People warned it would eventually affect everyone and give the federal government too much control over earnings. Today, the IRS has expansive authority. Income tax, which the IRS is not really a federal company, you know. It says income tax rates have increased, and nearly all working Americans are taxed. See, tax enforcement technology is also growing more invasive. Right? Would show me an American that's not taxed. Show me an American that's not paying income tax. Okay. Yeah. So this is what happened. So it started. We're going to use only for the rich, and now the rich are getting nothing but tax breaks. Every person that comes into office is giving the rich tax breaks. So the rich is okay now. All right. So it started with them in the 1930s, and then it moved to you. That's called gradualism, man. This is what they're doing with the CHIP, but it's going to be much faster than these different laws that you're seeing. Okay, we're at the end of the end now. It says mandatory minimum sentencing and war on drugs. Initially introduced in the 1980s under Reagan, many feared mandatory minimums would disproportionately harm poor and minority communities. Of course, early on, civil rights groups and criminal justice advocates opposed them as unjust and overly harsh. And you see these things that they push out here that really severely take your rights. When they put it on the news, they put it like as a joke, like it's not that severe. They'll have these little debates and I don't agree with it. I think it's this and that. And then they'll have 5 other people that agree with it. Well, you know, it makes sense because such and such and such. And then the person who didn't agree will shrug his shoulders and say, oh, well, you know, it is what it is. Like it's not a big deal. This is a major deal. This whole deportation thing. And these stupid crackers, these stupid Edomites, they think this is not going to affect them. They think this shit is not going to affect them. They're fucking idiots, man. And I really don't care. But it's like, because we know the judgment has to come, but you guys are really that stupid. You know? And some of you Negroes, you think that what they're doing to the Latin tribes, that ain't going to affect you. That's coming to you now. Hell you talking about, man? It says the U.S. still has one of the highest incarceration rates in the world. Mandatory minimums contribute heavily to mass incarceration, and many are still in prison for non-violent drug offenses, which the scriptures say, you know, this is a people robbed and spoiled and put in prison houses, man. You know, it says selective service. Okay, and you know, being drafted. Yeah, that was initially not agreed upon. The Federal Reserve Act. This was heavily opposed, but they did their little move. They did their little whatchamacallit, you know, their this deceivableness. Okay, they had their little meetings. How we gonna implement this for this to kind of slip through the cracks? You know. It says when the Federal Reserve was created, there was strong opposition from populists and anti-central banking voices who feared a loss of economic freedom. Critics believe it gave too much power to unelected bankers and created inflation risks. So we see what would happen with that. Today, so everything this Edomite government does, everything these governments do is against the people. Everything they do is against it works against the people. And all the people's concerns are usually valid. It says the Fed holds vast influence, but these are supposed to be the intelligent ones governing you. Yeah, they're governing you into destruction. It says the Fed holds vast influence over the economy, including interest rates, employment, and money printing. During C-19, it printed trillions of dollars, leading to inflation that hurt many Americans. So everything they do is going to be destructive unto you Americans. And this is why the scriptures say, not just Americans, the world. This is why the scriptures say, it says all the hands of the laborers, it says wicked, but the word there's laborers shall be upon them, because the working class is going to rise up, right? But the Negroes in the hood are the problem. The Negroes and the drinking liquor in the hood, that's the problem of the earth. See how these devils are retarded, man. Anyways, Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect, and I'll say shalom.